Hey guys, I just want to say that if you're new to the channel, please do consider subscribing. I'm a small content creator and could really use your support. I live stream 100% of the gameplay for games that I review, and I'm also always trying to keep up with the big named movies that are being released. If you would like to support the channel monetarily, you can do so through PayPal, or even better yet, you can get yourself some merch from my Teespring store. If you want to get better connected, you can do so through the social links in the description below, and please do consider joining the Discord. If you do, you can voice chat with me through my headphones while I live stream, and you won't be recorded on YouTube or Twitch. That's all I've got, guys. I hope that you really enjoy the video. Hello everyone, and welcome. I'm Mike, and this is
Ashley.
And this is Mike's After Action Reviews. And today we are doing the After Action review for Free Guy. Alright guys, so we're going to jump right in here, starting off with the production of the movie. So the production companies, there was actually, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 production companies with this movie, which Ashley here is new to the movie reviewing business.
I know.
But that's normally there's like 2.
Oh, okay.
So there's quite a few. So I didn't look into it. I probably should have. There was probably some reason, like it probably moved from one company to another. Mm-hmm. But those companies are 20th Century Studios, which is a huge studio. Most recent movie was Call of the Wild. Did you see that one with Harrison Ford? You know what I'm talking about.
I know what Harrison Ford is, yeah.
21 Lapse Entertainment, and they're responsible for the Stranger Things series. Okay. And that's basically all that they've done. TSG Entertainment, which is famous for Deadpool 1 and 2 from 2016 and 2018 respectively. Lit Entertainment Group, which is a completely new company, and it's only done The Tomorrow War from 2021 and Raised by Wolves series. So this is its second movie, okay? Berlanti Productions, which does... This actually worried me, and I talked to you about this. Did I talk to you about this before?
Maybe.
Okay. No. I was talking to somebody else about this. So, Berlanti Productions does, did the movie, the 2015 movie Pan, which was not, it didn't do so well in the, it was kind of panned, and I don't know if it made much money. And they also made all of the DC series. Have you watched any of the DC series, like Flash, Batgirl?
Oh, like TV shows?
Yeah.
No.
So, all of those series... Some of them started out okay. Mm-hmm. All of them now are doing terrible. In the ratings, they're not doing well at all, and the writing is not very good. So I was like, ooh, I was a little bit worried. And then Maximum Effort, which was worked on Deadpool 2 in 2018. So we have some veterans, we have some new people, and then like you can see when we get into acting and cast, like the Deadpool, Ryan Reynolds is in this. Mm-hmm. Stranger Things, those people are kind of here.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, so this was written by Matt Lieberman, who was a writer on Christmas Chronicles 2 in 2018. Did you see that movie?
No.
That was a pretty good one. I did a review of it, so you should definitely check that review out. And Zach Penn, who was one of the he was like a writer prodigy. So when I saw this, I was like, oh, this is nice. So he was a writer for the original Avengers movie and Ready Player One, 2012 and 2018, respectively. He also wrote an older movie, The Last Action Hero. Have you seen that? That was with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Very good movie. It's kind of like an action comedy. And this movie was directed by Sean Levy of Stranger Things series and Night at the Museum, Secrets of the Tomb in 2014. So you can see, like, this was kind of like a group of friends getting together, and then they probably went to 20th Century Studios, and were like, hey, all of us little production companies have an idea for a movie. Let's do it, So, yeah. Okay, so we're going to move on with the plot. Like I said, I was a little bit worried The writing team was good though, and the director was no stranger to quality shows and stuff. So I was happy with everything with that overall. I'm glad that Berlanti Productions. I guess that they just brought all of the good stuff from what they worked on and none of the bad because I did enjoy this movie. We'll get into that, but so moving with the plot. So spoiler-free explanation of the plot. This is from the IMDb description of the plot of this movie. When a bank teller discovers he's actually a background player in an open-world video game, he decides to become the hero of his own story, one that can rewrite himself. In a world where there's no limits, he's determined to save the day his way before it's too late, and maybe find a little romance with the coder who conceived him. I have 2 copies of the exact same paper. What did you think? Just the plot. Like, what did you think of the idea of the story? What did you think of the plot?
I thought it was interesting.
Yeah, I do think it was a creative idea.
Yeah.
I turned to Ashley here, like halfway through the movie, and I was like, "This is the Matrix."
Yeah. What was the other one you said? It was like a
The Terminator. This movie, it starts out as the Matrix, and then kind of ends as the Terminator series, sort of. If you watch it, you'll understand what I mean. But I mean all of that. I mean all of those things. Excuse me, I need my pen for this so I can mark off things I've already talked about. I mean all of those things in a good way. So it kind of computer world, video game characters. They're kind of, and then once the character kind of realizes that, he's like, oh, this is awesome because I'm in a video game, and so the stakes aren't like real life, and I can do superhuman things, and I can do video game stuff. So that was really cool. 1 second, now I gotta mark it off so that we don't I don't go over it again. Where did I put it? Oh yes, here it is. Bam, marked that off. Cool. Anything else about the plot? Let me see. So there is okay, I will say this. There is basically, like, as the plot progresses, it starts off like what you've seen in the trailers is basically what it's just said. And without spoiling it, basically what happens is the guy discovers, he doesn't discover that he's in a video game right away. He comes to the realization basically that he's not happy with how mundane his life is, and decides to do a couple of things just a little bit differently.
Yeah.
And because he starts doing a couple of things just a little bit differently away from what the program wants him to do, he gets into this, like, I don't know, the scene where he's in the coffee shop. So every day it's like he wakes up, does the same routine, goes to work, and has the same stuff because he's an NPC in like a mission of this game, and you see him like, oh, I don't want my normal coffee today. I want a cappuccino. And then that totally throws everything out of whack. All of the NPCs around him are like, what the heck? What? This is wrong. And there's even a tank. You see a tank outside like start to turn its barrel towards him, and he's like, no, wait, never mind. I want my coffee. That's not really a spoiler, but that's just explaining what we mean. And then that progresses, and you end up with him... you end up with him kind of gaining self-awareness from that, moving forward into the rest of the movie. Anything else about the plot you want to add?
You hit it pretty much on the head.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there are some human characters, like actual out of the game characters, and there's some things going on with them, kind of programmers for the
side plot.
Yeah, it's like the core plot, but it's like, it's not what they advertise. It's not what they advertise in the commercials and stuff. But it's just there's a programmer, and there's some stuff going on with, and this is told right away. We're introduced to the character, so it's not really a spoiler. There's a programmer who has an issue with the people who created this game, and that's kind of where the story goes. Like that's what starts the whole story really moving, and that's what the movie is actually really about. Other than the character's name is Guy, other than Guy's development into this self-aware video game character, and also this plot with this programmer having a problem with the game creators.
I liked because I was wondering, like, watching the trailer, like, what's the whole point of him?
Like, where are they going to go?
Like, why is he self-aware? I like the fact that that's why.
Yeah.
The whole thing. With
they do tie it together well.
Yeah, that's nice.
And that's what I was saying. Like where would they go if it was just that he became self-aware?
Yeah.
Like, what would it be? And so they did do that pretty well. So in the past, I have done acting and characters separate. Mm-hmm. We're going to do this together today. Okay. So instead of talking about the actors and then talking about the characters separately, we're going to do this together. So I'll go through the actors and stuff, and then we'll kind of go through what we thought of their acting and their stuff, but I'm just going to list them first. So the main character, Ryan Reynolds, he's from Deadpool 2016. There's that Deadpool again. We got Jodie, and Ryan Reynolds plays Guy. Jodie Comer, who is in Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker from 2019, and she plays Millie. You have Taika Waititi. He is most recently from the Suicide Squad, but he's a big director for Marvel and all, and he's a bunch of his own movies. Suicide Squad from 2021 is Antoine. Lil Rel Howerly. That's how you say that? I don't know. Lil Rel. No, I mean like.
I never heard his last name.
Yeah, well, he's from Get Out in 2017, and he plays Buddy. Then you have Joe Keery from Stranger Things series. He plays Keys. Utkarsh Ambudkar. He was in a show. That's a movie. He was in a movie, Brittany Runs a Marathon, in 2019, and he plays Mouser. And then Aaron W. Reed. So Aaron W. Reed plays Dude, and he's the guy, the big muscle guy that you see in the trailers. This was his first movie. He's been in some small series roles. He's a former WWE pro wrestler. I just threw him in because he's like a big character from the trailers. So Ryan Reynolds and Guy. I think that Ryan Reynolds, this was a role for Ryan Reynolds.
Yes, like perfect fit.
Yeah. What do you think of Guy?
Guy, I thought he was adorable. He's a very aloof, like innocent character, and he's so happy and positive. And then it's cool to see him progress.
Yeah,
the way he does.
That is one thing. So I wrote down here. I wrote this a couple of times. It's kind of funny. Like fish out of water guy, badass guy, cool guy. Like he kind of progresses through. That was really cool. So you see as he is finds out everything that's going on in the world that he's really in. Yeah, he's got like this fish out of water. Like, wait, what? What do you mean? Like, what do I do? How do I level up? What is all this stuff? And then the progression is really awesome. And then he kind of has some heart and it gives the character some real meaning to everything that he's doing. I do want to say this basically though, not in a bad way either, but basically this movie, this like guy, the character Guy, is Ryan Reynolds. Like Deadpool is Ryan Reynolds kind of showcasing his acting abilities. He can probably play different types of characters, but if you've seen Deadpool, you basically know the way that Guy is going to act.
Yeah.
Funny guy, not as vulgar as Deadpool was, but just basically like that funny, kind of serious, kind of cool, but basically funny character actor type. And like I said, that's not a bad thing on Ryan Reynolds' part. It's just that he's really good at that part, and that's just
his niche.
Yeah, it's like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Arnold Schwarzenegger is always the comedy action hero, and that's basically what Ryan Reynolds does here, which is perfectly fine, perfectly good with me. I'm very happy with how that worked. So
he did it well.
Yeah, Jodie Comer. So you know her.
I love Jodie Comer.
Okay, and she plays Millie. And she and Ryan Reynolds, Guy, are kind of tag teaming the main character role here. I don't know much about her. I actually, tell you the truth, I'm a Star Wars fan, but I did not see episode 9.
Oh yeah, I didn't see Star Wars.
What is she in?
So there's a show, I think it's BBC. It's a British, a British channel. I don't know. But there's a show called Killing Eve. And it has Sandra Oh from Grey's Anatomy in it. And Jodie Comer. They're like the two main characters. And she plays like this assassin like Russian trained assassin. She's just really badass and like totally. I mean, we don't know if she's like a psychopath, but she has these tendencies where like she doesn't care about anything. She gets her job done, but like over the season she gets more humanized.
Okay.
But like Jodie, like she nails it. Like she's amazing in it.
Okay.
So that's the first thing I saw her in.
So comparing from that to this,
completely different.
How do you think that she did?
Of the spectrums. I mean,
I'll tell you, I enjoy seeing that.
Yeah.
So I saw an Adam Sandler movie called Punch Drunk Love, where Adam Sandler was totally serious, and it's almost to the point of being like sad. Like he's a very serious, kind of somber character, and he did a really good job at it. And there was comedy, but not from Adam Sandler's character.
Nice.
And it was really cool to see. So it's really nice to see like an actor do something completely different and then do good.
Yeah.
So you liked this?
I did.
You liked her in this? What did you think of her character here?
I liked her character. She was kind of just fighting for what was hers. You know, and fighting to get it back and I guess get closure to that part. Like, you've been done wrong and like, I'm going to prove it. Yeah.
No, totally. I agree. I basically agree with all of that. I'm going to set this here so that way I can like check off my notes. So then we have Taika Waititi. The Suicide Squad is his most common thing, or his most known thing. Have you seen the Suicide Squad? Have you seen anything where he plays a character?
No.
Have you seen
I know
any
him
of
as
the
a
Thor
director.
Movie? Have you seen him in the Thor movies and stuff?
He was in it?
No. I mean, have you seen the Thor movie?
Yeah,
okay, like Thor Ragnarok? Okay. So Thor Ragnarok, he plays the rock guy, Korg. Like, he just talks. Not a big deal. Basically, I saw a TED Talk with him where he talks just about, like, creativity and all this stuff. And you can see, like, his personality. Basically, in this movie, Taika Waititi plays himself. Like, it's just Taika Waititi on set. And they're just like, Taika Waititi, respond to the things that are happening to you. You are the CEO. He plays the CEO. He's kind of the bad guy in this movie. He plays the CEO of this gaming company, and he is just himself. Wow. But like a bad version of himself.
Okay.
His acting, like, it's one of those, it's almost the same as Ryan Reynolds. Like, actually, they did a good job with his character as far as motivation and how he acts and everything. But, like, his actual acting skill would not have mattered because it's just him being him.
Yeah.
So, that's great to find. It's great to find, like, I don't know because I'm not, like, a producer of a movie. But, like, it's nice to see when they find an actor that is just the character himself.
Yeah.
So, that was cool. I did like Taika Waititi. And he is the bad guy. And he does a pretty good role. You can kind of see that the bad guy isn't evil. He's just, like, not a good guy.
Yeah.
You know?
He has certain motivations.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he's one of those guys it's not like he really wants to hurt people or anything.
Yeah.
He's just doing his own thing and doing what he needs to do to get it done, which, without physically, like, actually harming people or really, I mean, he didn't, like, ruin anybody's life, but he did certain things. If you see the movie, you'll know what we're talking about when we talk about it, but that's the type of character he gets. Then we have Lil Rel Howery from Get Out. We said that. Okay, so he plays Buddy. I saw Get Out. You saw Get Out. Mm-hmm. Comparing Buddy to his character from Get Out, whose name I forget. I would say that he's a little bit more serious here. Mm-hmm. Still comedy relief, though.
Yeah.
Still comedy relief. I think that he does a good job. Basically, with the character that he plays is the, like. There's not really a straight man, you know what I mean when I say straight man? Like, there's not a very serious character in this where it's, like, totally serious. No. But I would say that if Ryan Reynolds was the totally serious guy, Buddy is the comedy bounce-off where they bounce off each other with comedy. So, yeah, I would say that. And he does a really good job. Basically, all the acting is done really well here. Joey Keery from Stranger Things as Keys, I liked him. Yeah. He's a newer actor. In Stranger Things, it was completely serious. He played a lot of emotional roles. Do you see Stranger Things?
Yep.
Like, it was very kind of emotional and very heavy, serious stuff. Here, it's comedy, and he does a pretty good job at it.
Yeah, I liked him.
Yeah, there's not really much to say about his character. See, now we're getting into the side characters, so there's not, like, a whole lot of... Yeah. But just that they're pretty good. Utkarsh Ambudkar. He plays Mouser... And basically so I mentioned this character because they're top credit role, but actually I would say, yeah, I mean, he's there. He does fine. Nothing doesn't showcase so much of an acting ability or anything like that. Not that the actor's not good, but just like the writing just doesn't have the potential for him because he's written as a background character.
Yeah.
And then Aaron W. Reed. I mentioned this guy because if you see it in the movie and you see it in the trailers, what did you think that body was? CGI.
Yeah, it looked. It's like they took Ryan Reynolds and just like
CGI'd him.
Mm-hmm.
That is a 100% real man right there.
That's cool.
And that is pretty cool. And I just want to give that guy credit. He's played in a bunch of series in India, and he was a WWE pro wrestler. So hopefully we get to his physicality is really good, and you can see, although he's not doing the dialogue, like he's physically an actor, physicality is an actor. So hopefully we can see him doing some more stuff. He can kind of take on that, like, because all the big guys who play super strong guys are old now. Arnold Schwarzenegger, Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah, they're getting up there.
Yeah, so this is kind of like maybe his break and roll into like starting to take that role in Hollywood.
Yeah.
So.
That'd be cool.
Okay, so anything else you want to say about acting or characters or anything like that?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, awesome. Like I said, acting was really good. Characters were done pretty well, and it's kind of a simple story. Nothing too complicated. This is mostly just fun. So, like, the characters and acting, this is basically comedy. Not that comedy doesn't require acting skill, but just it's simple. So, it was pretty straightforward, and I think that everybody did a pretty good job putting it together. Okay, so miscellaneous section. All right, so do you have anything that you want to say other than what we've talked about? Anything that stands out to you in the movie? What's up?
Anything that stands out? I'm a huge detail person.
Okay.
Like, even when I'm like I read for detail. I've been told by teachers, like, and I feel like this movie did a really good job.
Speak a little bit. She's new. I gotta keep telling her to talk a little louder. It's okay.
And I'm like naturally speak so soft.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, the detail that they put into is like you're watching.
Free City is the word.
Free City.
Yeah, that's the name. That's the name of the movie of the city.
Like when they were in Millie's safe house.
Yeah.
And they're like collecting you see them putting her weapons into her like backpack that's not really there. Right. But like that attention to detail, like you play a game and you see a character gathering their weapons or the health thing, when he touched the health, he does little I don't know, there's little details like that, like makes it enjoyable for me. Like, oh, they thought this through. Like,
I would say, or like when they're talking and you can see in the background like people glitching or jumping into walls and doing weird stuff. That was cool. No, I did like that. Oh, you know what? I totally was going to say something about the characters. This can kind of be miscellaneous / characters, but I did like how they had like the God mode. I just want to mention this real quick before I forget, and then I'll let you continue on with whatever. Keys, played by Joe Keery, and then Mouser, played by Utkarsh Ambudkar. They're like moderators for this game, and they have you see them interact with things when things start to go wrong, and they do almost like Inception. Have you seen the movie Inception?
Yeah.
Or like The Matrix, or if you've seen like Doctor Strange, how they start to like. It's in Doctor Strange, it's magic. In Inception, it's imagination. Here, it's like digital world where things are going wrong, so they're trying to like battle with Guy because they think that he's like a virus or a hacker or something, and they start to like change the world and move things. I thought that was pretty cool. I just thought that was cool, and it works with this the the backdrop that we have as far as being in a video game world. So that was cool. Like I said, this is basically the Matrix. They cut the cord, or they cut the wire, the wire or whatever. Anything else though?
Yeah.
Okay, so I do have a couple of things. Already kind of talked about he starts to go against the system, kind of the God. One thing is that I will say that there are movieisms, like. For instance, if you're a video game player, there are going to be things that you're going to realize, like, oh, that doesn't exactly work like that. Like being able, like, if something's going wrong in a game, you can reset a server. What are some of the things that now as I'm sitting here, I'm trying to think off the top of my head, but not being able to reset Guy, for instance, in your thing, they make this conflict. You kind of have to there are video game things that you kind of have to say to yourself, like, hey, I get it that a video game doesn't exactly work that way, but I'm going to let that go because it has to happen for the movie.
Yeah.
If it worked exactly the way video games worked, it wouldn't work. You wouldn't be able to have a movie. Like I said, they realize that something weird is going on with Guy. He's an NPC. They can't figure out whether he's actually an NPC or a player that's hacked an NPC. That wouldn't happen. They would be able to know. There's no MMO or anything today that works that way.
Okay.
They have the streamers. There's like a thing where streamers are just watching Guy, and they're not watching themselves play.
Yeah.
And video game people are going to be like, you can't not be in a game but watch someone play. Like that. Maybe there's a game out there like that, but most of them are not. Not that I know of anyway. So there are some movieisms, and that's fine. I do want to say, I liked the awkward romance. There's an awkward kind of romance that happens in here.
Yeah.
And then the way they bring it around in the end, it has a good payoff at the end.
Yeah.
And it's not what you expect, so that's pretty cool. Something you might not have expected in in a movie like this. They have a lot of awesome, and I put awesome comedic cameos and pop culture references. I really like. There's like 4 or 5 things that you're going to see in this and go, man, I know that, Yep. And it's just cool. It's just cool little fan service things for you to kind of laugh about.
Yeah.
There are, one thing, there is some cheesiness. There's like little things where you kind of think, but basically I wrote cheesiness, and then the next bullet point I put was that this is basically like a teenage movie. Not meaning that this is for adults, but it's like one of those movies that you imagine like high schoolers going to and thinking it's the greatest movie ever.
Yeah.
And it's not the greatest movie ever, but high schoolers would think so.
Yeah, they'll love it.
This doesn't have the most amount of depth. It does have some depth, but not the most amount where it like changes your life or anything like that. But basically, I do still think it's for adults. If you know, it's just fun. It's a good action comedy type movie.
Yeah.
One thing that I did like is kind of like you were talking about in the background stuff. There's scenes early on in the beginning when you see some like really crazy stuff and they refer to it instead of it being just in the background, but it like shows it being normal. Have you ever seen Powerpuff Girls, the original Powerpuff Girls?
Yeah.
The original cartoon. Mm-hmm. There was an ad for that where you see there's an ad it made me think of where you see a guy, he's like walking to the bank and the Powerpuff Girls are over here fighting, and you see him like he has a newspaper and he puts the newspaper in his mouth and he gets shot by a laser that turns him into a dog and he's walking to the bank with it in his mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Then he gets turned back into a human and he like goes to the bank and he like deals with his banking stuff and all of this, and you see him just like acting as if all of the things going around are normal and they're superheroes like fighting all this stuff, and then at the end of the ad it says like lived in, I forget what city they live in, but like lived in Powerpuff Girl City for his whole life. Yeah. And that's what this movie's like.
It is, yeah.
That is what this is like.
Exactly.
Like, so there's like giant robots and monsters and superheroes flying around and they're all just like, oh, I'm just on my way to work.
Yeah.
So yeah. That was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. It's not all good. It is not all good. I do just want to say, and I just want to touch on this before I get back to some good stuff, but there is just a dash, and I think that it might have been unnecessary. It didn't destroy anything. It wasn't totally terrible. There is a dash of some political stuff, social commentary things. Not terrible. It's not in your face. It really isn't in your face. But at the same time, people are getting sick of that. They are. No, I mean, they are.
Yeah.
It did not really bother me in this movie. But it's just like, it really wasn't necessary. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't necessary for like the plot or progressing anything really. Mm-hmm. I think that the jokes that they put in there about, like, they weren't even really jokes. It's what I call anti-comedy.
Yeah.
It's like where it's not really a joke, but they kind of frame it as a joke, but they know it, even though they know it's like not funny. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? It was fine. If you really hate that kind of thing, you're going to see it. It doesn't get really any worse. It's not like the movie progresses into some thing about preaching at you or anything. Yeah. But I just have to mention that because that's something I talk about on the channel. How, I want, agenda is not... Agenda first, I don't like that. I don't think they put agenda first. But that's just everywhere now, and it just gets irritating. I mean, what do you think?
I mean, I don't mind it so much if it's not super shoved down my throat.
Yeah.
and they didn't really shove it. I mean, I caught it.
Yeah.
But it was enough for me to kind of like, okay.
Yeah.
Keep on with the movie.
Yeah. So you know what the thing is that bothers. It doesn't. Again, this was okay, but you know what bothers people, and what I mean that I identify and see here is that if it was the other side, and they did the same thing with the other side of that whole argument, not getting into what I believe politically or any politics or anything. If it was from the other political side, the people that are pushing this would hate it. Like it would be, critics would hate this movie, all that stuff, and it's just kind of bothersome. So that's why I mention it. I don't think it was done terribly here, though, so it was okay.
Yeah, it was fine.
One more good thing, though, well, kind of funny stuff. I think that if you notice, like I said this to you too, Guy is actually a simp.
I love it.
He is a total simp.
It's so cute.
Because he's like actually, if you think about it, he's like actually a real person. It explains that he gets self-actualization, which is in the trailers and everything. But that means that he's basically an artificial, like a real human mind, okay, in a computer, that is in love with the electronic virtual construct of another woman. He is into virtual ladies. Yeah. And he's a simp.
He's a simp.
It's funny, which is awesome. It's funny.
So
They do it in a funny way.
Yeah.
Again, that's not the political stuff I'm talking about, but it's just funny. It's just funny when you think about it. One thing that was cool is that as you explain, as they show Guy getting self-actualization, he starts to realize like my life, and they touch on it, and it doesn't take up a huge amount of time, but they touch on how Guy is like, it's all fake, it's all a lie, and then his buddy says, yeah. And kind of coming to the realization, like, you might be in a computer, and this is the same thing that you're going to see in all of these types of movies. You might be in a computer, but does that make you any less real?
Yeah.
So, that was done really well, and that was kind of one of those deep, touching moments that I did like. Okay, so that is everything that I have, so let's move on to our final statements and review score. Do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first?
You can go first.
Okay, so I'm gonna go first. I have a review score. Do you have a review score? Okay, so I'm going to go over this. Every time that I have a new person, I explain the review score so we can... so you have bad,
okay,
below average, average, above average, excellent. Excellent is like if you were going to make one movie before you died, this would be the movie. Okay. Bad is like, I don't wish this upon my enemies. Or if it's really bad, but like in a good way, I still say bad, but then I say like it's bad, but it's like a good bad. Okay. But anyway, okay. I think that this movie was good. There was a little bit of that political stuff, which I normally don't like when they put agenda first, but they didn't really put agenda first. I actually don't understand necessarily why they put the political stuff in there, because it didn't progress anything. But it didn't hurt the film. I actually will say it did not hurt the film. It's just separate from what is going on in the film. It doesn't get in the way, but it is separate. Yeah, I would say that. I mean, I think that's a fair way to put it. I think it's fun. It's comedic. It's basically like a buddy cop, basically an old school buddy cop movie. It was simple, straightforward, linear story of this is what's going on. We have an interesting thing happen that leads to the story, and then we have the story, and the story just goes forward. No twists, turns, surprises. No big, huge thing. It's just pretty simple. It's fun, action, comedy. All the characters and acting was done very well. So with all of that, it didn't change my heart, didn't make me rethink cinema. I would say that this movie was probably a low to mid-tier above average. So I'm going to say above average. Yeah. What is your final review score and statement and review score? Statement and review. Okay. The movie was lighthearted. Okay. Yeah. Very like it's one of, like after watching it, I felt like this is one of those movies that like I would just randomly put on if I just feel like watching a movie. Mm-hmm. You know, like I wouldn't get tired of seeing it. Like, oh yeah, I'll watch that again. You know, and that, the acting, like you said, was great. Ryan Reynolds, he's always good. You already know I love Jodie Comer. She's amazing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like you have a mix of action, comedy, a little bit of rom-com, which I'm a sucker for. I'll admit that. I love a good rom-com, and it has those little elements in it of everything. So I was like, okay, I liked it. It was really good. So I would say above average too. Okay, awesome. Yeah. Well, there you have it. So our score here is above average. We both want to thank you all for watching this video. check out my other reviews on my YouTube channel, or you can check me out on Twitch. I do the live streams over there. You can check out my Teespring store. I have you can get yourself an awesome shirt just like this. Alpha shirt. I got the Alpha on the back there. So I will see you guys next time. I just want to say God bless you all and have a good day.
Bye, everyone.